Diamonds on my neck, ice in my grill. Bring it over there, bring it over there. Bring it over there, bring it over there. Bring it over there, bring it over there. Diamonds on my neck, ice in my grill. Ice in my grill, ice in my grill. Ice in my grill, ice in my grill.
What's up, gang? It's Deltia from Deltia's Gaming, back with Omega. Yes, part 2, PvP, got it done. And I want to talk to you about the skills gear real quick, and then we're going to get into combat scenarios as I narrate some live action and show you exactly it is how I pull this build off, what you can expect. First off, this is kind of a small group, maybe a solo type build. You kill really, really fast, but also you don't have the survivability as my other builds. So this isn't really meant for big, huge group play. It's meant for killing stuff, being a magic range sniper, if you will. Yes, it works. So let's talk about the skills to pay the bills. First up, we have Blazing Spear. I like this instead of a traditional leap in. Reason being is I want to keep my distance. I really don't want to charge in this build, so I don't need a charge. If I did, I would switch it out. But Blazing Spear is a ranged stun, has an awesome synergy, and it does decent amount of damage. So this is my big AoE, ranged AoE that I can throw out on my sword and shield bar, which is number 1. Number 2, Puncturing Sweep. So if they do get up close and I need some self-healing, this is what I'm going to use, that channeled AoE damage ability. Third, Blazing Shield. It's just too good to pass up. A huge damage bubble and reflects back damage that I've taken. So in an panic mode with a bunch of people on me, I'm just going to spam this and then go into Puncturing Sweeps after I have a bubble up. Or just keep on spamming it just to prevent a death. Another one up, Defensive Stance. Oh yes, Defensive Stance is the key to this build. It's the key because it reflects. It double reflects, in fact. So if I use a Dark Flare on my enemies, which is the main source of damage that I do in this ability, if a Dragonite has Reflect up, it hits me and then goes right back on the Dragonite. I will show you this in the videos. It's amazing. Making Defensive Stance must have. Next ability up is good old Repentance. So the reason I use this is obviously the corpses, but it also gives me a minor buff. So as we're killing stuff, I'm going to be frying those corpses. Trick on the first bar, ironically, is to not hold block. You don't want to hold block. If you hold block with this build, you're going to run out of stamina and die in 3 seconds. What you want to do is constantly either throw spears in the AoE area until they get up close and personal. Then you're going to Puncturing Sweep them. If you're overwhelmed, Blazing Shield until the situation's handled. If you run out of magic, then hold block. Try to get some Repentances going to self-heal you, but you have 2 self-heals. One here, magic here, and then even a third one, Devouring Swarm, the ultimate, 150 cost. It's very, very low in stage 4 vampirism. Highly recommend it. It's cheap, it's AoE, it's nasty. And that's sort of sword and shield. So you're not going to block, you're going to hold it. That's kind of your AoE, someone gets up close on you. The big Nukatron bar is bar 2, double swords for that increased spell power. Really simple. The basic combo that I use on this guy is I first off get my Reflect Up Defensive Stance. It lasts 30 seconds, so I can do a lot of damage in between then. Because I go into my Dark Flare. Dark Flare is going to hit like a, a truck, and it's going to decrease their healing for 7 seconds. So those Dragonites that infinitely heal, not so fast, my friend. And if they reflect it back, that effect will still apply and redirect right back at them. Make sure you have the Defensive Stance up. Realistically, if I use a Spell Power Potion on this build, increase spell damage, Major Prophecy, and then I pop a Dark Flare, the next thing I do is Radiant Oppression. It's really that powerful. I can almost 2-shot most people because this hits so hard into this that they're going to be at that 50% range where this channel just nukes them. So some people say this is cheesy to use. Whatever, maybe it is. But it's one of the most effective abilities in the game. Why not use it? It's amazing. So I like the Dark Flare into this. The rest of the abilities on the bar are really utility. So I have Purifying Ritual. Why? It's cheap, it's a cleanse, it's AoE, and it's a big, huge radius. So I think it's really, really helpful. Next up, Elusive Mist. Templars are slow by default, so having this increased speed, it also, basically you can't get CC'd while you're in this. You can get immobilized, but you can't get CC'd. So if you're in a big trouble situation, or you're going through a breach, or you just need to get away, this is your ability. I tried Immovable here, and I just didn't find it as effective as Elusive Mist. Last up is their Major Breath of Life. So if we're playing with allies, this heal will save you, and especially yourself. If you don't have any enemies to Repentance or allies, this is what you use to save yourself. Last up, the reason I call this guy Two Beams. Soul Magic, Soul Assault. This is the huge channel, but it snares the enemy. That's what I really, really like, and it's 96 seconds. So if you're doing small group content, you have to kill stuff. You can't just be a tank monster that never dies, because guess what? They're not going to die either. You have to kill stuff. This is for that target that's just such a pain in the ass. You're going to Blazing Spear and stun them, swap back to the spar, and boom, right into a Soul Assault. If for some reason they don't die, Two Beams. Go back into Radiant Oppression. They're going to be below 50% health. So that's why I called this guy Two Beams and started him out with that name. I knew I was going to do this at first. So Soul Assault, cheap, and it is a massive channel. Most people panic when you use this on them because they haven't seen it and they really don't know how to counter it. And I'm not going to tell you the counter because I don't want you guys to be using that against me. But there is a counter to everything. That's basically the skills. Now, let's talk about gear next. Alright, so the interesting part about this build is I use 5 pieces of heavy armor, because I like the resistance that I have, and I'm not so squishy to physical attacks, which is Flavor of the Month in Cyrodiil. I use 2 pieces of light, which come from the Worm Cult. You can get this in dungeons, very, very hard to get. It's one of the only non-craftable 2-piece sets that gives you spell power. You want to stack as much spell power as possible. You're not in the fight just to hang on for 10 minutes and never die. You're in there to nuke a couple people and move on at range. So that's what I use. The next set, Storm Knight. Yes, it's actually pretty powerful. The Elf Bane is much more powerful because it offers a better 2-piece set bonus and even better traits. It also goes to VR14, but it's super ridiculous expensive. So you can find this, I think, in Trials. Elf Bane you can get in Heavy Armor PvP bags, which I'm going to be spending all my AP to get. Regardless, you want to have a 4-piece set for the spell damage. So I use the belt, hands, legs, with the necklace. Reduce magic cost on the necklace. Next 2 items, Cyrodiil's Light, tons and tons of spell power, and then I use the Engine Guardian. So both with impenetrable traits, heavy. Reason I use Engine Guardian is it allows me to have a tons of resource regeneration without having to spec into it via champion points or this. So I really, really like this. My champion points, in fact, are pretty much the exact same as I use for my DPS. Not too much of a change. Next set I use is Sword and Board, Dominion Sword, Dominion Shield, Blessing of Potence. Stamina regen for Sword and Board. Also, it has 2 really good traits, Impenetrable and Defending on the Sword. I really like this as a more defensive, up-in-your-face type of bonus. The added stamina recovery really helps if I need to block in a clutch situation. So that's what I go with. And then, of course, my Nirnhound Beast Mode Swords. So to give you an idea of how powerful this is, I have 2300 spell damage. Now, I don't use entropy on my build because I also like to use potions. Yes, potions. I use this one in particular. Also, Beefish sent me some that there's spell power and magic and stealth detection. I'm probably going to use this. Guess what? 40.3 seconds. That's due to the alchemy passive, which I highly recommend medicinal use. If you don't know, potions cooldown 45 seconds like it says there. So you can almost constantly use this potion. Now, it's expensive, yes, but it works. So if you want the high-end DPS, use this potion. If you want some more survivability, you can also use drinks. I like food, Tri-Stat food. More health, more stam, more magic. The reason being is my major threat is the Wrecking Blow spammers that are going to charge in and try to Wrecking Blow kill me. If I can survive that initial burst because I have so much health, I can nuke them. But I have to have a lot of health. Sitting at 20k just doesn't work for me with this build. And this is kind of the gear set I found the best. Now I want to show you guys combat and PvP and do some narration on what exactly I'm doing. And so you get an idea how to use this and how to nuke people and how to piss people off in PvP. Let's go. You're going to come up against Gankers all the time, and you need to know how to prepare for them. Very first thing is don't panic. Get off your horse as fast as you can and get your defenses up. My number one thing is I always ride with my sword and shield bar on, because the very first thing I'm going to press is Blazing Spear. It's going to let them know, hey, you're not going to be able to take me down melee, and if you do, you're going to take some damage with it. So basically you're waiting to get momentum back and survive the initial onslaught. So right here I'm about dead, but now I got a potion, Breath of Life, I got full stamina, and I'm ready for him. He's going to go out of stealth, come back in, puncturing sweeps him, and wait for that opportunity. There it is, bats, getting close. He came way too close, and he just got nuked. That's how you defend against a ganker. And let's give him a teabag to go. Remember with this build, you're not going to kill everyone or everyone. You don't have a whole lot of AoE, but what you do have is single target pressure. You need to get people frustrated, hang in the back, and wait for your opportune time to strike. Specifically, wait to get Soul Assault up. That way you know you can burn one person down. Also, I'm spamming a lot of different abilities in order to proc the right type of resource I want for Engine Guardian. So I have defensive postures, I keep casting it even though I already have it on cooldown. That way I can proc some magic. I go over to the targets that have low health. Remember, you want to kill stuff, get them off the battlefield. If they have low health, pick them out. This guy I know is using stamina, doesn't probably have a whole lot of magic defense, so I go after him. Boom, dead. Now I'm just waiting my turn. If I get them on a laser beam and they're half health, they will die. Even if they're at full health, I just let them know, hey, you better not come near me. And if they do, just like this guy, don't panic, do a dodge roll, and stun them. That's how you dictate the offense. Also, your sword and shield bar with Blazing Shield is going to be your number one defense against those melee physical fighters. So when I'm on my back bar, I'm just waiting to choose off my target. If I get in trouble, do a cleanse, big Breath of Life, and always keep my defensive postures up for a big spam. This guy here tries the defensive postures me back, but I did a double reflect, live to fight another day. I'm getting low on resources, so I'm not charging in. Wait to pick your target. Now I got Solar Assault up, boom, Solo Assault, 2 beams, dead. And that's all you're doing the entire time you're field fighting like this. It's picking your target, waiting for the opportune strike to go in 2-beam style. At some point you're going to be pressured, and pressured a lot. So you got to constantly know what and when to use your resources. Your last resort is always Mistform. So as soon as you're getting in trouble mode, boom, do a dodge roll into a Mistform. You got about 4 seconds where you can't be CC'd. The number one priority, like me, is to get line of sight. Hopefully you get enough resource regeneration and even an Engine Guardian proc to live to fight another day. Look what I'm doing here. All I'm doing is picking a place where barely anyone can hit me, and as soon as they do, I just line of sight again. I'm constantly looking at my potion cooldown timer to see if it's up so I can get back in the fight. If I'm out of combat, try to get in stealth. Try to use those bodies as leverage and get some resources back, and then get in the fight. If you can save an ally from dying, unlike what I did there, that's one more person that can help you survive. All you do here to survive, Mistform and line of sight. Get behind trees, rocks, anything to live to fight another day. Eventually you're going to counter a really tanky block knight, a dragon knight that just blocks and reflex and is hard as heck to kill, like this one. What you need to do is understand the concept of resource management and reflecting. So I just do a double reflect there to get proc that health deficiency and then laser beam around. This guy's doing a really good job of line of sighting, which is okay. Use Blazing Shield to get them stunned and off balance and then go in for the kill. Dark Flare your butt off. Get that healing reduction going and then kill. That's a build, gang. I really hope you enjoyed this Omega version. PvP, it's really fun to play, powerful and easy. Way more builds to come with Omega. I love my Templar and I hope you guys learn to play this effectively in PvP and have a great time. Thanks for watching.